another edition of Ask Michael Eline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm attorney Michael Eline, and as you guys know, I'm an attorney licensed in California and Texas. I primarily do catastrophic injury claims. Hopefully you like my cool Blues Brothers sunglass look. In about, 45 minutes or so, John Filax is going to come on, and we're going to talk about this project that I'm helping him with, where we leverage our YouTube channels, all the auditor community who wants to be part of this program, to try and find lawyers who want to help us, and in exchange, we'll help them advertise on our YouTube channels. At least that's the basic idea. Not even necessarily advertise, but we'll give them a plug. The only types of civil rights cases I take are police shootings and tight handcuff cases. So if anything else, I'm really not in a position to take right now. My mainstay in my practice is, for right now anyways, until I can figure out something else, is catastrophic injury. So I help primarily military veterans who got in really bad motorcycle accidents and their families. They just hire me because I'm an inactive U.S. Marine and they know I'm a hard charger. And that's how I got famous and recovered over $300 million for my clients in the last 20 years. But my love is civil rights and government accountability. I am a patriot first and foremost. Unlike most personal injury attorneys, I'm not a far left radical whack job who thinks you should have tampon machines in the men's restroom. Au contraire, I do my job to make a living and support my family, and I use the proceeds, much of the proceeds that I make, to support the government accountability operations that I believe in. And I helped co-write the Cruise Ship Safety Act originally, and I'm involved heavily in the cruise ship industry. I lobbied Congress on behalf of cruise ship victims, and I have a military veterans nonprofit where I help victims from the Camp Lejeune and the different types of smoke pits and all that other stuff that went on in the Gulf War. And my father died from Agent Orange. He was also a Marine, and he died from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So these are things that are close to my heart. And I don't like overreaching government servants. I don't, as a general rule, I dislike government employees. I think that most government employees are far left Marxists and they hate America. And I think that we need to have less government because I think that means more freedom. And I want to know what you guys think. And so I believe in homeschooling, homesteading, and looking after your wife and kids, always being armed and always being ready to defend your family, home, and hearth. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So since I'm waiting for John to show up, and sometimes he's kind of a little late. What's the matter? You good seeing it? Grateful Dabs, Brandy Swaney, Jody Shiloh, and Sticky Wicked Thoughts. All my homeboys and homegirls that are here. I'm really grateful that you guys made it up. But make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like and subscribe button. Do that for me, guys. And we're going to start off with some fun. I had all these different videos that I wanted to show you from last time. So we're going to try to get through as many of them as we can until John shows up. And then we'll get into the meat of the show. All right. So here's the first one. This first one I'm going to show you is, and I'll do like an attorney reaction breakdown, right, of the video. The first one is judicial overreach in the constitutional limits of the federal courts. And let me get you. Actually, no, the first one is going to be trooper arrested. An Oklahoma Highway Patrol trooper got arrested, and it's just a short one. I just want to get into why I think that we need to have higher standards for government officials. I think that if you're going to get a job as a public servant, you should have a certain IQ. You should be somewhat intelligent and not be a DEI hire. You should actually have qualifications other than just, being like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like you should actually know the law and mean to keep it well and be of good moral and chaste character and have a proven track record of that. Otherwise, you should not be allowed to hold any kind of public office. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Give me a bunch of twos if you think I'm a racist, bigot, and a homophobe for believing in merit-based promotions and merit-based office holding. Here we go.
The highway patrol trooper's arrest, charged today with raping a woman following a traffic stop. And this case dates all the way back to January.
Hey, Gloria.
News 4 Spencer Humphrey is looking over the new court documents, and we should warn you, some details are graphic.
An Oklahoma state trooper allegedly giving a woman an ultimatum when he pulled her over here in South Oklahoma City back in January. She could either go to jail or have sex with him. The details in the arrest affidavit for Oklahoma Highway Patrol Trooper Jarquez Evans are disturbing. Investigators say it all started when Evans pulled over a woman for an expired tag near Southeast 29th and High Avenue just before 10 p.m. on January 26th. The affidavit says Evans' body cam and patrol car dash cam were rolling as he walked up to the woman's car, the woman allegedly telling Evans she had an illegal drug pipe inside. Evans ordered her to get out and searched her pockets before then searching inside her car, where he found a sex toy in her purse. Investigators say he brought it up to the woman, saying, "Mine is bigger," then telling her he wouldn't take her to jail for having the pipe if she would just have sex with him. The woman later told investigators with the Oklahoma City Police Department that she agreed, and the two drove to a nearby parking lot where Evans got in her passenger seat and had sex with her. The affidavit says she even asked Evans if she would be charged with prostitution for having sex with him, to which he said no, and that he'd taken off his body camera and microphone. Investigators say Evans later bragged to a friend about what happened, but told them the woman is who proposed having sex. OKCPD investigators sent Evans' uniform pants to OSBI's crime lab, where tests on them found a fluid stain matching Evans' DNA profile and another likely matching the woman's.
Hey, what do you guys think? I have a new name for this guy. Sponge Arquez Square Pants. Sponge Arquez Spare Pants. Sponge Arquez Square Pants. Blah, blah.
Profile. Evans was booked into the Oklahoma County Jail Friday on charges of rape and forcible sodomy. In Oklahoma City, Spencer Humphrey, Oklahoma's News 4.
We reached out to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, hoping to ask them some questions about this. A spokesperson would only confirm Evans had been arrested and is currently on administrative leave. They did not tell us how long he's been on leave.
Hey, how much you want to bet he gets another job at another police department down the street or in another state? What do you guys think? Give me a bunch of ones if you think Sponge Arquez Squarepants is going to get a job working for another police department. Give me a bunch of twos if you think he's going to be held accountable and instead be imprisoned for maybe like rape or something. What do you guys think?
And if it is paid or unpaid, we'll keep asking.
Hey, what's up, F? Good seeing you, man. My brother F. Good seeing you, my big dog. All right, let's get into the next infamous DEI hire video before John Filax shows up. Let's do it.
If you truly believe that children are a priority, that education is a right, then show us the money that we are owed and deserve and need. And these advocates, all of these individuals in this struggle are going to march to Albany to demonstrate their commitment.
Letitia James was also sworn in on Wednesday as the city's new public advocate, the position previously occupied by Bill de Blasio. She's the first African-American woman to be elected to citywide office in New York.
Imagine running for office on a platform of justice for all, but behind the scenes, you're cutting checks to a nonprofit to run your campaign like it's Black Friday at Best Buy.
The fabric of our city, of our nation, is made strong by the untold sacrifices of so many who are left defenseless, unrepresented, unspoken for. The policies that make them voiceless must give way to
we got to stand up for folks like Sponge Arquez Squarepants. You know what I'm saying? Because no one's above the law. You know what I'm saying?
Government that works for them, that cares more about a child going hungry than a new stadium or a new tax credit for a luxury development. To live up to that challenge and to be morally centered in our decisions is the task before those of us who think of ourselves as the progressive wing of our city.
Fast forward to now, Letitia James is under fire again, this time for ethics complaints and a criminal referral tied to alleged mortgage fraud. The pressure is mounting and folks are starting to ask if he bent the rules back.
What's the matter? You just spotted a new form of language. Does anybody know what politices is? Because we all want to know what's a politici. So somebody transcribe a politici so we all could understand what that means. All right, let's keep on going, guys. Anybody who knows what a politizy is, let's put that in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
Back then, what else is she capable of today? Let's bring this full circle. Did she have a nonprofit running parts of her campaign back of September to November of 2013? And if so, why hasn't anyone done anything about it? That's the situation Letitia James found herself back in 2013 run for New York City Public Advocate. We're going to go back in time and dive into this situation. Let's get into it. So back then, Letitia James was a rising political star in New York at the time. She was gunning for a public advocate seat. For those who do not know, public advocate is basically the city's professional snitch. Their whole job is to call out for corruption and government screw-ups. So the stakes were already sky high. But according to campaign finance records, James' 2013 campaign made payments totaling nearly $3,500 to a nonprofit called New York Communities for Change, NYCC. Here's where the eyebrow raising starts. NYCC is a 501c4 nonprofit, meaning legally their main purpose has to be promoting social welfare, not political campaigning. And spoiler alert, it looks like they were doing a little bit more than just welfare promoting. According to the filings right here, as you guys can check out, this is online, New York Communities for Change, NYCC. You see all of the things that she spent on, looks like campaign financing, staff, rent, phone, runoff, canvassing. These things allegedly were used to help her win the seat. Like I said, the nonprofit was basically running parts of her campaign. This isn't just sketchy, it might be illegal. Nonprofits can dabble in politics, sure, but if it becomes their main hustle, their tax-exempt status goes bye-bye. Think about it. It's like hiring your Uber driver to also be your surgeon. Wrong people, wrong job, and it's going to end ugly. Well, seriously, because who would have someone do surgery if you're an Uber driver? But anyway, let's continue. And look, no one is saying that James personally filled out those invoices. But when your campaign is cutting checks to social welfare nonprofit to get bodies on the street for election day, that's not just sloppy, that's weaponized hypocrisy. And also, this gets worse. Not only those payments were made, they were repeated. There are multiple invoices, multiple dates, as you guys can see here, staff canvassers, phone operations. This wasn't a one-time oopsie doopsie. As you can see here, September 30th, $362.21 for canvassing. You see right here for October 3rd. You see right here for November 25th. These payments weren't nickel and dimes. They were organized, repeated relationship. And every time a check was cleared, the NYCC drifted a little further from that community organizing and a little bit closer to campaign staffing agency. Meanwhile, James was out there in the public promoting transparency and fairness, like she was auditioning to be on the Disney Channel or something. And here's the really sadly hilarious part of all this. NYCC was basically reborn from the ashes of Acorn, the nonprofit that got destroyed after a 2009 uncovered sting operation exposed major corruption.
Yeah. James O'Keefe became a media sensation after he and a friend posed as a pimp and a prostitute and secretly recorded Acorn workers giving them advice on how to cheat on their taxes.
Have you ever done anything undercover with Acorn Housing?
Now, Acorn is a group that helps poor people. It is known as the Association of Community Organizers for Reform.
It was a tactic that no one had ever seen before. Scenario: a young woman pretending to be a prostitute and a man pretending to run for Congress one day walk into Acorn's Baltimore headquarters
and are promptly shown the door.
Performance arts, let's see, independent artists. You can be that. Dancing?
It's not dancing, trust me.
But dancing is considered an art. I mean, you know,
sex is kind of like dancing, right?
Yeah, some great thing.
I had no idea I was going to walk into the office in Baltimore and Tanja Thompson was going to spend an hour talking about creative ways to commit tax fraud. Perhaps the most extraordinary thing about it was that it actually passed legislation in Congress that was bipartisan in a democratically controlled House and Senate, with President Obama signing that legislation.
Within a few more days, the Senate voted to defund Acorn.
So you're telling me that the Letitia James campaign, which is all about rooting out corruption, was quietly cutting deals with a group that came straight out of Acorn's shady legacy? I mean, the irony is just ridiculously delicious. And just like Acorn, NYCC's political involvement was also a massive gray area. They're supposed to be the social welfare warriors, not political operatives. Yet here we are getting paid to put feet on the ground for a public advocate campaign. Now, did Letitia James get arrested, indicted, forced to give a public apology?
No.
Nope. There has been zero accountability, no investigation, no charges, not even a slap on the wrist. And after winning her public advocate seat, James used the platform to eventually become New York's Attorney General. Basically, the top cop of the state. The same person whose campaign played fast and loose with the nonprofit rules is now in charge of enforcing the law on everyone else. That's like letting the raccoon run in the produce section at Whole Foods. It sounds crazy because it is crazy. And now, here in 2025, the stakes are even higher. Letitia James has become one of the most politically visible attorneys in the entire country, especially because of her ongoing legal battles with Donald Trump and his allies. But here's the biggest issue. When you make law enforcement political, you better make sure your own house is clean, squeaky clean.
That's right.
No problems. Because once you step into the political spotlight, people are going to dig into your past with a shovel and a flashlight. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, with Trump supporters and conservative legal groups targeting her for ethics complaints and referrals for alleged mortgage fraud. Every questionable move she made in the past is now being brought back up for review. And I'm going to be talking about this until I'm blue in the face, but the problem with weaponizing the law and politics, that it invites retaliation.
That's right.
It turns the legal system into battlegrounds. And suddenly it's not just about guilt or innocence. It's about who gets caught first and who's better at covering your own tracks.
Right, Hannibal.
It's extremely dangerous. If prosecutors are seen as politically biased, public trust in the justice system erodes really fast. And if the enforcement of the law has a record of skirting it, that erosion turns into a full-blown collapse. The question becomes, is Letitia James really fighting for justice? Or is she just playing the same dirty game with a shinier badge? And the worst part, if you or I try to pull this stunt, they'll have us in handcuffs so fast, we'll be still holding the receipt. So here's the $1 million question. If Letitia James was willing to bend the rules to win an election, should we trust her to enforce the rules on everyone else? Because honestly, if the top cop is skimming, it's only a matter of time if the whole town becomes lawless.
That's right.
And what matters even more is Letitia James isn't just any politician. She is the Attorney General of New York. Woo. That's a position of massive power.
That's right.
She has the authority to bring lawsuits, lead investigations, and determines who gets hit with the full force of the law. So if her own foundation is shaky, how can anyone else take her crusade against corruption seriously? We don't need our leaders to be saints. No one is perfect. And politics isn't church. But there's a huge difference between being imperfect and being entangled in your own pattern of rule breaking. If you're going to lead a charge against fraud, you can't be out there with your own closet full of skeletons or red flags or whatever you want to call it. It's like a lifeguard who can't swim. You might look the part, you might say the right things on the megaphone, but when it comes down to saving some people, you're just another body in the water. Like myself, I can't swim. She's made a name for herself as the fearless watchdog of justice. But if she's cutting corners in her own campaigns, then the watchdog might be a little too close to the meat.
That's right. What do you guys think? Give me a bunch of ones for Mr. Hannibal. Now let's get into the next one. Let's talk about the Boston DA and another diversity, equity, and inclusion scam that rocked this location. Let's get into it.
Well, yeah, I want to know what would get you to a point where you trust the police. In that piece in the Globe, it mentioned that rather than trusting the police to provide security at your peaceful protest, huge protest at Franklin Park, you offered black men in the community $100 each.
Mostly peaceful. When they're expected to cause $10 billion in property damage and looting, and they only cause $3 billion, according to this guy, it's mostly peaceful. So make sure you understand what mostly peaceful means. Let's go.
Which they did not accept, but plenty of them came to provide security. What would get you to a point where you'd feel comfortable calling the Boston police to provide security for an event like the one that you led several days ago? What would change things for you?
Jim, I'm a black woman in America. I will never trust the police.
No matter what?
No matter what.
A few moments later.
Hold up. I'm a white man in America. I will never trust police. Okay, so what? Let's keep going.
Stop asking me how I feel about having a black police commissioner. He ain't doing a mother thing for the black community, okay? He did not do it for us. That him being in that position don't mean the same way he got on Facebook with his free speech bull talking about how he want to have free speech to critique the ACLU who's fighting for immigrants. And
by the way, this is a typical college graduate in modern America. They just actually, I think, eliminated math and English courses, I think in Oregon, because I guess it's racist now to teach math and English. So this would be the most highly educated person probably now in our country, because people like me don't really want to go to college. We want to learn how to be plumbers, electricians, and do things where we can make money. Because getting a college degree is about as worthless as a degree in pouring coffee at Starbucks. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree.
And making sure that they ain't deporting people to goddamn ICE, right? Meanwhile, here I am going live asking for housing assistance.
Many months later.
Boston community leader says she is not guilty. Monica Cannon Grant is accused of taking donations from her anti-violence nonprofit to spend on hotels, groceries, even nail salons. In federal court today on fraud charges, a judge allowed Cannon Grant and her husband, Clark Grant, to remain free without bail. A grand jury found the couple allegedly led a series of schemes to defraud people who donated to their nonprofit Violence in Boston.
So the leader of BLM Boston and Citizen of the Year is now under federal indictment for defrauding donors of her not-for-profit.
Oh, yeah. I love this guy. Nate the lawyer, my man.
This is Monica Cannon Grant. She hails from Boston's Roxbury neighborhood and is best known as a community activist. Now, she came to fame in...
AKA trained Marxist, like most of the founders of BLM. Trained Marxist, but instead of using money, they use the race card. So, you know, you're a white oppressor against black oppressor, and that's what BLM essentially is. It's cultural Marxism, and it's being forced upon our children in the public schools, basically, I believe, in an effort to start a race war. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree.
In 2017, when she organized a counter-protest against what she and many others considered to be a white supremacist rally in Boston.
We're not standing against white supremacy. We're not going to have it in our city, not in Boston, not in Roxbury. We're not having it. Hey, white supremacy has got to go.
As many as 40,000 people turned out Saturday, showing opposition to the expected message of the rally in a march against white supremacy. At the beginning of the march in Roxbury, organizers spoke out against the agendas of neo-Nazis and white supremacists, but also the mixed response to them from President Trump.
Now, in 2017, she launched a grassroots initiative called Violence in Boston. Now, even though it started off as a Facebook page, it turned into a multi-million-dollar not-for-profit in under 4 years. Now, during that time, she coordinated Boston's largest peaceful Black Lives Matter rally that had zero, and I mean zero, arrests. She also got $54,000 in public funds for pandemic relief and claimed that Violence in Boston, her not-for-profit, fed 80,000 families. Now, for all this work in 2020, she was named Bostonian of the Year. Now, Grant became a local celebrity, and that allowed her to charge $1,500 for things like public appearances, $900 for public speaking, and $50 for a personal message from Grant to you. Now, the not-for-profit is going so well that even the district attorney's office gave Grant money so she can do good works. Here's Grant talking about the district attorney's office giving her and her not-for-profit $6,000.
Y'all are trying to clock what I'm doing. And you're monitoring, because the DA's office gave me a $6,000 grant. And I was like, y'all are monitoring $6,000. I spent 20 grand in the month of August. You don't get it. Off of grassroots fundraising, helping women, paying light bills, paying rent.
So the DA's office was so confident in this woman, they said, we're going to give you and your husband $6,000 for your not-for-profit because you're doing good things. So it was a shock to the DA's office when she was indicted for fraud.
Breaking now at noon, federal fraud charges against the founder of the nonprofit called Violence in Boston, as well as her husband.
Now, the details of this story are hilarious. Remember that $6,000 she got from the DA's office? This is what she did with that money.
In June 2019, Cannon Grant accepted a $6,000 grant for violence.
Wait, let me guess. Hair extensions, nails. What do you guys think? Maybe a Louis Vuitton purse? What do you guys think?
Prevention from a Massachusetts district attorney's office. Prosecutors say that money instead went to a nail salon, going out to eat, hotel rooms, fuel costs, and car rentals.
Now, all of that is insane. But before we get to the rest of this insanity, which there is a lot more insanity, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Did you know that in the United States, if a company puts out a product and they know that it can hurt someone in a particular way, either physically or mentally, they can be held liable? It's a concept called failure to warn in product liability cases. This is why when you hear those drug commercials, they say things like this.
Some people have had changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, thinking, or mood that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away.
Oh yeah,
Talk to
you
your
got to get
doctor
that.
about any history of depression or other mental health problems, which can get worse while taking Chantix. Some people can have allergic or serious skin reactions to Chantix, some of which can be life-threatening. If you notice swelling of face, mouth, throat.
Now, I predict this woman is going to be the next vice presidential candidate for the Democrat Party. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. I think she fits right in with Tim Walz. He could put tampon machines in the boys' room, and she can advocate for free press-on eyelashes for all the young up-and-comers and BLM supporters. What do you guys think?
Throat or a rash. Stop taking Chantix and see your doctor right away. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. The most common side effect is nausea. Patients also reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual, or strange dreams. Until you know how Chantix may affect you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. Chantix should not be taken with other quit smoking products.
As you can see, whoever created Chantix does not want to be sued for failure to warn. And as you heard, they warned you about both physical and psychological side effects of taking this medication. So now, why am I telling you this? Because it's a product in the United States that didn't warn millions of people who use the product every day that they could be injured. Some of the side effects are attempted self-deletion, anxiety, seizure, panic disorder, hypertension, neck sprain, and a huge amount of others. And the product I'm talking about are video games.
We're going to turn now to our GMA cover stories about a new lawsuit that claims some video game companies are intentionally addicting kids to the game.
And we're talking about some of the most popular games like...
All right, I'm getting bored with this video game addiction ad. Let's get back into BLM. Let's do it.
Now, back to the video. Now, Grant was also collecting unemployment, saying she wasn't getting paid to do any of this stuff. And the text message between her and her husband pretty much says it all. She texted her husband, quote, "Unemployment caught my ass. Asked me to provide documents by June unless I'll have to pay it all back."
According to court documents, Cannon Grant and her husband presented themselves as unpaid leaders of the nonprofit. But authorities say Cannon Grant paid herself an income of more than $25,000 in 2020 and more than $170,000 in 2021. Authorities also say the couple collected more than $100,000 in pandemic unemployment assistance, though Cannon Grant was earning tens of thousands of dollars in consulting fees and her husband was earning weekly pay from a job. The couple's accused of using the money on plane tickets, new furniture, to defray the cost of a motorcycle and more.
Now, in an interesting twist, Grant's husband was killed in a motorcycle accident right after the indictment.
A motorcycle crash has killed the husband of Monica Cannon Grant, the community organizer who's under indictment on fraud charges.
What's up, John?
Clark Grant was killed in a crash in Easton last night. Grant was facing charges along with his wife.
So, John, I was just trying to kill some time sharing some of the new diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff that's going on out there. How you doing, buddy?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good, man. So, everybody, I want you to welcome John Filax. What's going on, big dog? Tell us about yourself and why we're here tonight.
Tell you about myself.
Yeah.
Former restaurant owner, pool player, researcher. I've done a lot of things. I'm really into Constitution and just a free America the way this country's supposed to be versus other countries who don't have what we have that we take for granted. And I went to Okeechobee meeting, when was it? A few days ago. And the chairman of the board there, David Hasselleaf, he thinks he's a dictator. And if we bring up Cohen versus California, he says we don't have jurisdiction in California. He doesn't understand basic concepts like case law and court rulings and how that court ruling, even though it's federal, it applies to Florida also, the First Amendment in general. What they did was they arrested Warren Sapp, who a lot of people might not know, but he was in 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneer football team, and they won the Super Bowl that year. And he's one of the best defensive players that's ever played the game, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So they arrested him for basically having a little mathematical argument at a gas station with this cop who, speaking of DEI, tatted up everywhere, didn't know, confused about her gender. And she got in a little pissing match about the mathematics of double the speed of the speed limit, blah, blah, blah. They were all going there as a charity event, and they all had sports cars, and they were going to some children's charity event. And she pulled him over. You might have been speeding, okay, but you know, Warren will just pick you off like that. It's like some dude came up to him yesterday at the Clearwater City Council meeting and said, "Oh, I saw you've been getting in some boondoggles or something." He's like, "Boondoggles? I say no boondoggles. I'm getting into boondoggles." And then I had to walk away because I thought Warren was going to be like, "Look this guy up." So he was doing a lot of that at the gas station, and he got arrested for it. Another cop comes in with the total sleeve tattoo. Seems like the ones with all the sleeve tattoos and all the blue line paraphernalia. Like they even make a Glock pistol with the blue line on it. So he comes in, yeah. He comes in and says, "You want to go to jail?" Basically, show me you're interfering. And Warren says it's a physical act. Well, they arrest him. They follow through. Case gets dropped. He sues for $20 million. Case is still pending. In the meantime, we started going to the Okeechobee County Commission meetings and protested him. And the guy just throws us out, and the sheriff's department forces us out under the threat of arrest. And that's where we're at. I've never sued anybody in my life, but this guy needs to be sued.
And do you have any of these on your channel that I can play back? I see TAC members in Clearwater Council meeting. Is that the one?
Should be the one before that.
See, I see TAC members. I see Day at the Beach.
Let me see.
I just want to. Is it a video or a live? Maybe
it's a live. It's a live.
It's a live. So the one that I could show us, my members, is the TAC members in Clearwater City Council. It says latest.
Oh yeah, you're right. Let me make it public again.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because I want to share with my audience what's going on, because everybody knows you're the GOAT, you know.
I'm not the GOAT, man, but thank you.
Oh, what the hell, dude? You are the GOAT for the First Amendment auditor community. I think you are.
Well, what about Jeff Gray? What about J.C. Playford? What about?
Well, they're all GOATs too, but you're the voice of reason.
Okay.
You're the most reasonable one, I think, so far. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that you're more of a team player than a lot of the auditors out there, and I think that with your help, between the two of us, we could form a coalition where we could get some lawyers who are patriots to get involved into this movement.
We have a coalition, Transparency Accountability Coalition.
Well, good. You've already got. I'd like to help it grow. Let's put it that way. So you've already beat me to the punch. So I'm going back to your channel right now, John, to try to.
We're only 3 months old, so.
Okay, got it.
I'm distracted. Let me see. TAC Clearwater.
I see TAC.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
If I made it unlisted, I could just send you a link, right?
Well, you could email it to me, because if you put it in the sidebar, I won't be able to click on it because the stupid StreamYard doesn't work.
Just make it public.
But if you make it public, I could click on it and
just make it public.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to refresh. So it's going to be in the lives, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. For some reason, it's not showing up. Maybe
hit refresh.
I did, man. What the heck?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's not.
Sorry, Andre.
Yeah, just shoot it over to my email, brother.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it's not letting me refresh. You know what I'm saying? Not letting me do it. Because I want to put the people, into the mindset of what you guys are suffering right now.
Okay, I'm making it happen, man. I'm working my house magic.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Right, I'm checking it right now. So what's the matter? You's always over there in the making some crazy comments. What do you think about that? He doesn't think lawyers can be patriots. I don't know, man. What do you think?
The Italian guy?
What's that?
You talking about the Italian guy? Who are you talking about?
Well, my homie, what's the matter? He doesn't think that He doesn't think lawyers can be patriots. He said, lawyers that are patriots, cha.
Why's that?
I don't know. You got to ask him. You really better ask somebody.
What was his name?
What's the matter, you? He's my homie.
Hey, what's the matter, you?
What's the matter, you? Hey.
I got a question. What's the matter, you? All right, there you go. There's a question for him too.
All right.
So I thought you were talking about the Italian guy. Always goes to Clearwater meetings and like he's like a paid provocateur. And he called me a Mama Luke.
I think what's the matter, you wouldn't have to be paid. I think he would just do it for the hell of it. But he's one of my moderators, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's over on the side there. What's the matter with the big U? We always go at it, you know. That's what I like, though. I don't like having a bunch of like kiss asses on my show. He believes in natural law and that kind of stuff. So I like having him because, you know, I represent right of Attila the Hun, and he represents a little bit more of the left portion of the spectrum.
I've been told that exact term, right of Attila the Hun.
Yeah, it seems like you and I have a lot of things in common.
I don't get that. I never understood that. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's what people say. To me, it's just normal. Like a man should be.
The Hun was a Hungarian something.
Was he? I thought he. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll be a hornswoggler.
Okay. I'll hit a bull's ass with a bass fiddle.
Hey, are you still doing stand-up comedy, by the way?
Are you joking?
Oh, I've seen some of your videos, man. You're pretty freaking funny, dude.
I try, man. You know.
Hey, we got SW Observer just joined us. Do you ever have him come on your show?
FW Observer. No, but hello, sir. Thank you for watching.
Swedish Observer. He's really cool.
Oh, man. Swedish Observer. Yeah, I've actually talked to that guy.
Yeah, he's a patriot. I'm a Swede too, so we get along pretty well.
He's a Swede.
Yeah, we talk about the Islamic invasion of Sweden and Norway, and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of fun. Kind of get into it.
He showed me his house and stuff. It was pretty cool. He's like up high.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a true patriot.
You ever watch that guy on he like lives up in the mountains of Russia and he just cooks like whole cows and he makes like apparatus to cook with, and he's got a stupid catchphrase. He doesn't say a word till the end. He goes, super.
Oh, no way. I got to check that out, man.
Oh, God. He gets millions and millions and millions of views, and he sells his own knife set. But he's somewhere in the mountains of Russia, and he's just cooking insane stuff, man. I can't even figure out where he gets the product from.
Maybe if we can, like, just not do a bunch of things and just, like, milk cows, we can get more views.
Yeah, now I'm thinking. Or just play with puppies all day.
Yeah, well, or just get some hot chicks to show up, and just sit there with a bikini. You'll probably get 1 million views in a few seconds.
Wait, there it is. I have a puppy pen. I play with puppies, and I invite girls over to play with the puppies.
Oh my God, dude, it's it. It's on. Can I come hang out? Just
That's an award-winning idea right there, my brother.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just introduce. I'm going to introduce you now in your video here. Let me, this is the Okeechobee redress with Warren Sapp, EOTS, and the Armed Fisherman. By the way, guys, Armed Fisherman, I think
that's not the one you want to play, man.
Oh, it's not. Well,
did I send that one? 7 minutes?
Yeah. Send me a better one, man.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
Because the audio sucks and everything on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're going to wait for the next one. We'll just keep talking about.
Is that 1 hour and 17 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, that is the right one.
Oh, it is. Oh, too bad, because I wanted to talk more about bikinis and puppies.
Go ahead.
Well,
that's an idea, man. The puppies channel, release the hounds channel.
Guys, give me a bunch of ones if you think John Filax and I should have a puppy and girls in bikinis show instead of talking about patriotic stuff. What do you guys think? Give me a bunch of twos if we should only do patriotic videos instead.
Hound dog puppies, super hot women, and we'll call it poon hounds.
And that's ones. Give us ones for that. Poon hounds. Woohoo! Dude, hold on. I gotta spell that out. So poon hounds. Okay, I'm gonna share that one. Hopefully I spelled it right. I think I spelled it wrong. Poon hounds. Does anybody look at that? Poon hounds. And Rami says we should get a cold one too. Throw in a cold one. What do you think? Well, I do the near beer thing because you get me around alcohol and I just end up turning into a blithering idiot.
Near beer.
Near beer for me, yeah.
I hear you, Boomer.
Oh crap! Well, I think Poon Hounds is a great idea.
It is.
So far, we're getting a bunch of twos, though, John. I think these guys want us to stay on topic with patriotic
All right.
stuff.
All right. So yeah. So.
All right. But I'll stop it whenever you want to narrate. All right. I just want people to know what's going on. By the way, how's that paleo diet coming along? You look great, man. You look like you lost a ton of weight.
247 to 228 since April 1st.
Wow.
And quit taking all my type 2 diabetes medications. All I take now is like one for neuropathy.
Wow.
And that's it. And Life Under the Microscope is the one who told me about that.
Yeah, give me a bunch of ones for Life Under the Microscope, guys, for making sure that John Filax can stay around a little bit longer to enrich us with his GOAT First Amendment audit community stuff.
If I could throw away the cigarettes, man.
You could try those nicotine patch, the nootropics. Like you just put the pouch in there.
Yeah, but then there's nothing in my mouth.
Well, yeah. Well, no, they have the like these. I'm not taking these because I found out they have sucralose in them. But these are tobacco-free nicotine pouches. I just ordered the non-sweetened version. These are advertised on Joe Rogan's channel, and I got the ones that have like spearmint, peppermint, and they also have nicotine, as well as some other like stuff that's supposed to be good for you. I mean, I think it's better than ruining your lungs with cigarette smoke. I don't know, man.
So fun.
Yeah, but let's get into the freaking doggone video.
Go for it.
Yep. All right, here we go.
One on quit. The dude Ed quit at the post office.
Which one's that? Which one's that?
The old guy.
You know,
He didn't have no complaint.
The one with fucking look like he's wearing a wig?
Yeah. Somebody, he didn't have no complaint for him. He quit.
Why? Because of that shit?
He retired. I was coming for his motherfucking job, but they were have to fire his ass.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because I asked him, I said, you got a complaint for him?
That's Warren said.
No.
Yeah, okay.
At the post office. Come on, son. Come on. With Sergeant and the doggone the chief or whatever you back them in the corner. So
what's up, everybody? We're here with a nice crew today. We got Eyes on the State.
What's up, everybody?
We got Body Bag Records.
Body Bag, baby.
Dr. Sean Berry.
All members.
QB Killer Warren Sapp. XXGOX. A police supporter with a box full of desecrated flags. Are you for or against the police arresting people for speech? Yep, they never have an argument. They just blindly follow the police mafia. There you go, Gio. So the reason we started coming here, everybody, is because Okeechobee County sheriffs arrested Warren Sapp for speaking. And I'm sure they would love for one of their family members to be arrested for speaking. So they blindly support police. But they have the right to do it. We just like to influence them on the good side of history instead of the bad side of history. There you go. This is what you call counter-protest here. It's your right to do it, man. But yeah, look at the facts, dude. You don't want to look at the facts. They don't want to talk about it. This is typical of police supporters here. They just blindly support them. They're going to hand out desecrated American flags. Yeah, they don't have an American flag. They got the desecrated blue line American flag. Desecration. You good with that? Is there something wrong with this flag, sir? Why would you have desecrated flags? You don't know why you have desecrated flags? Okay. Good talk.
Good talk. Jeez.
Let's see. I think they're not going to let us bring in tripods either. Help me out, brother. Thank you.
Morning.
Hey, sir. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Is this the inventor of the tampon?
I am.
How are you, my brother?
Good.
He really did. He really did. He improved the design and it got patented.
No way. That's awesome.
They handed him a design. They couldn't.
Hey, him and Tim Waltz should get together so they can make better ones for the boys' room dispenser machine, right, John?
Man, they're not big enough.
They're not big enough. Well, we got to make sure there's plenty of tampons in the boys' room. Got to make sure that men can have tampon machines in the men's room.
Figure out any.
Hey, I guess you got to avoid sepsis somehow or another.
Dr. Sean Berry.
Can't read your comments, guys. I apologize.
Hey, really quick, did you make sure to tell those cops that they're in violation of their rule, having those sidearms on them?
They're sovereign citizens, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Is the mainstream news here today? Do they have a tripod? Now, why can't we have tripods? Part of what? I didn't hear you. Now, I hurt my back a couple days ago, and it's really painful for me to sit down, especially on the car right here. Is he going to throw me out for standing?
Go ahead.
So Gio, the guy with the talk box, some former commissioner from there assaulted him at one of the meetings, and he got arrested. The cameraman used to go there and try to like counter troll us, but he would never speak a word. He would just constantly be in our face recording. And then the same day Gio got assaulted.
Yeah.
This cameraman, Jesse Ryan, that works for the commission as a cameraman, kept putting his hands on him, kept putting them, and basically it's, to me, when I looked it up, it's a falsely imprisonment, stopping someone from going somewhere they have the right to go when you don't have the authority to do so.
Plus, it's a battery too. It's a harmful and offensive contact.
Right, but they refuse to charge him. And Gio's 65 plus. He's disabled.
Yeah.
And the reason they assaulted him is because he brings that blue line flag with all our autographs on it, and he just steps on it everywhere he goes.
I noticed that. Yeah. And he's got that synthesizer machine.
Yeah, the talk box. Yeah, that thing's annoying, but we love Gio, man. We just tell him to shut up every now and then.
I thought it was kind of cool. It reminds me of that Daft Punk group, Better, Faster, Stronger. Blah, blah,
yeah, one day at a barbecue, I had him sing what the fuck is that Beastie Boy song for me? Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
Dude, that's sick, man. That's awesome.
Fast forward a little bit though, please. Just go to the meeting.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
And you can go through the nurses and all that shit.
I wish I could, but I'm married.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you just kind of watch me. Is these ones here the nurses?
Yeah, that's the nurses.
All right, hold on.
No tripod, so I gotta wing it basically. All right.
Right about here.
Fisherman, keep going a little bit.
A little bit.
Keep going. Let's see what that looks like.
That I will find out. Okay, let me find out for you. Item I is.
Can you tap your arrow buttons forward?
From the county.
Go forward a bit.
With your arrow button.
This button right here?
Oh no, with your keyboard.
Oh, let me see.
Hit right.
I'm looking for the arrow. Hold on. Like this? Hold on.
It just goes 5 seconds, right? So
Like
keep
that?
going. Yeah, keep tapping it until you see Solo Yacker go up there.
This one?
Keep going. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Go, go.
Oh, it's slowing down for a second.
Yep.
We're having a
That's
little bit
fine.
of technical.
Let it load up there.
Right, keep going.
I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, keep going until you see one of us at the podium, basically.
Looks like Florida.
First mission about this church, we're having our annual day of.
Yeah, it's still a good amount ahead because
Oh wait. Oh, that's pretty cool. He's got his mess around. He's got chains and everything.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
It's like Biden said, he's going to put you all back in chains.
Yeah, because you don't want to watch an hour and 17 minutes of this.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. I think.
Videos now.
What about this?
Not honoring her oath.
This one?
Nah, keep going.
Nice Glock 21. It looks like huge on that lady.
Here we go.
Right. I'm backing it up.
That's good. You're good.
All right.
Start the clock.
So I like his body
Can't
armor.
get to the podium.
Looks pretty cool. Is that Armed Fisherman?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Armed Fisherman's the man.
Yeah, he is.
You know, the one thing about this great country is that people have died for it, for the
Amen
rights
to that,
we
brother.
have today. I'm holding my grandfather's flag that was in the Marines.
I just got motivated right now.
He fought for this country.
Green coal.
My great grandfather, he fought and died. My entire family has been in the military. I unfortunately did not get into the military.
It is.
I had all the right qualifications except for a bunch of waivers. I had to go through so many waivers. They were just like, hey.
This is not something this board has anything to do with.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna start on what you do have something to do with.
Okay.
All right. You know, just a quick Google search. I was like, oh, does the Board of Commissioners in Okeechobee County cover the sheriff's office? In a quick Google search, found that to be true.
Pause for 1 second.
So anytime that we come up here talking about,
go for it, brother.
You can also use a space bar, brother. So,
oh, really?
Yes, sir. Hit it real quick twice. Hit it twice.
Oh, shit. Hold on. I got to go back to the here. Oh, dude.
David or.
Okay, that's cool, bro.
Yes, it is. So,
damn.
They've made like some new rules, and they brought up, speaking of DEI, another lawyer who doesn't know what gender she is. And she filled her head with all this stuff about decorum rules and how they can set decorum rules. And it might have all been legitimate, but he took it on to mean as you're about to see how he took it and what power he thinks he has now. So where was I going with that? She made some new rules, decorum. Oh, so, and then he tried to say, you can only talk about stuff we have jurisdiction over, trees, roads, bridges. So he starts talking about the sheriff's department, and they're trying to claim that they don't have jurisdiction over the sheriff's department.
But they're a county. That's county, though, right?
And watch how he uses this argument. So thank you for stopping there.
And really quick, I think you misgendered. I think you have to call it a they, them. Otherwise, you might be guilty of a hate crime, right?
I'm going to say young lady, and that's at the end of the story.
Oh, well,
I don't know her any respect.
I'm pretty sure they, them's going to be upset. What do you guys, give me a bunch of ones if you guys think they, them is going to be upset. All right, let's
I hope they, them don't surround me.
But well, I feel sorry for they, them, because I'm pretty sure that tampon machines, at least under the current administration, are not allowed in the men's room. That should be a real blow to they, them's ego. All right, here we go.
The sheriff, we have the right to do that. The same thing with your nephew. Your nephew is the undersheriff of this county. How am I? What did I do? Come on, guys. You can talk about it.
Remove him from the meeting.
What, dude? Are you freaking kidding me? This is public comment.
That's why we were here. No, costume clowns.
And John, I want to note something really quick. I see sheriff on the back of these tactical vests.
Right.
So they even have the sheriff there providing security. But I guess you're what?
Yeah, it used to be like 3 guys, maybe 4. Now it's up to like 12 in uniform, and who knows how many out of uniform.
Right. And he's only allowed to talk about caterpillars and boys that wear dresses and stuff like that, right?
Basically, I don't want to watch every speaker, but
yeah,
one guy goes up there and gives them a good reaming about them not hooking up his water pipe so he can put out a fire at his own barn. And one of the firefighters shows up, and he's related to David Hasselhoff. Solo Yacker. Do you know that Solo Yacker is the armed fisherman, right? Same person.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Solo Yacker, that was his first channel. Of the armed fisherman was the second. So Solo Yacker gets kicked off for, what do you say? Talking about the sheriff's department. Oh, and he's brought up David Hasselhoff, the chairman of the board's nephew, who is also a firefighter, and then the undersheriff is David Hasselhoff's either son-in-law, son or something. No, his last name's Hasselhoff. So you see what's going on in this little county.
Nepotism to the hill.
Yeah, nepo babies, exactly. That's what I call them, nepo babies. So,
nepo babies.
Where was I going with this? Arrested.
Well, we were talking about the sheriff's providing security, and then some guy can't put out a fire because.
So his barn catches on fire, and you asked who the hell made the order to cut his water off, and it was Hasselhoff. Who's the undersheriff? Hasselhoff. Who's the chairman of the county commission? Hasselhoff. The first day we went in there, he was like, "Oh, you're gonna take your hat off. You're all gonna take your hats off." And I just go up to the sheriff. I go, "You can't tell us how to dress, right?" And that's what started this. That this meeting you're looking at is, I don't know, the 8th or 10th one. So yeah,
got it. So they're telling you've got to dress a certain way, and it's all based on their like internal code.
23 pages of decorum rules they try to put.
God.
Yeah.
Sounds like we need to get a civil rights lawyer involved in this thing, buddy. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
I've never wanted to sue anyone as much as I want to sue this guy.
Let's see what these
good old boy, inbred. There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
I digress.
This is unreal.
Unbelievable.
Don't do it wrong, y'all. Please don't do it wrong. We've got 3 more going out. The one in the center, the one by the door, and the one that's up here. They've all been told on the border class.
Nice throwing out more just because they were talking while that was going on.
What?
Sir, listen, I'm a nurse. This is Nurses Week, and you are supposed to follow the nurses. Listen, nurses code of ethics.
When I go up.
So they threw that guy out. He came to support us.
Unbelievable.
We're all wearing t-shirts. They're wearing t-shirts with cuss words just to show them who's the boss.
Right.
It's my turn.
Yeah, will.
I'm trying to find cameramen for myself.
Right.
But they keep getting kicked off.
This David Hasselhoff is out of control. You guys are enforcing unlawful orders. You know that, right? Oh, you shook his head. Yes. Okay.
You've all broken your qualified unity. You're all over the law.
I know we have the right to speak, right? Excuse me, sir. Nine cops.
Mein Führer.
My man, he came to Auditpalooza. He's just enjoying the show.
Oh, cool.
Next, we have Ruby Minton. Second call for Ruby Minton. We have Scott.
This guy's name is Body Bag Records. He has his own story with a different county up north.
Body Bag Records. I love it.
Just learned from the nurses. Great morning, not good morning, great morning. I've also learned that we should never assume that a person knows something, that assumptions are bad. Assuming that you don't know, this is the Holy Bible. Assuming that you don't know, this is the Constitution of the United States, which is ordained by the Holy Bible. I'm taking this route. We're going to talk about bridges, if time permits. We're going to talk about potholes. We're also going to talk about libraries. But I want to give you the opportunity to violate. You violated so far 4 of the 5 elements of the First Amendment. With me personally, and a lot of these activists.
We'll take this under consideration to get the amount of time that it needs. What else do you have to say?
What does that mean? I don't understand what you're
What else do
saying.
you have to say?
Okay.
Something you want to talk about the potholes is your time.
We're going to talk about the potholes, but you just stopped. To be clear, you don't want me to talk about the Bible, exercising our freedom of religion. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying right now? I want to make it clear.
Oof. Ouch.
Do you want to talk about, you said you
I want to talk about.
You're out of order. Do you want to talk about potholes and bridges or not?
I'm going to talk about potholes and bridges, but not on your terms, sir.
This will be the time to do it, or either you can leave.
Leave us or have a seat. Are you telling me to leave the building? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me, to leave the building?
Do you want to talk about potholes?
I want to.
You're out of order. Take him out. Take him off the
What the hell?
Off the premises.
What is it? Dude. That is ridiculous.
You guys are really going to enforce that?
All right, you don't have to touch me. I'm going to do it on my own, okay? Okay. I'm going to go.
Yes, sir. You need to go now.
I'm going.
Yes, sir. You need to start walking, please.
Under threat of arrest,
Don't
right?
stay here.
Don't touch me, though. Don't touch me. Please don't touch me. I'm going to tell you.
Go.
Listen,
Hey,
let me tell you this.
Scott, go.
Come on, man.
Bro, you guys are opening yourselves up for a lawsuit.
I'm anointed by God. I'm not leaving profit. I'm telling you. Once you touch me, everything, the whole, everything.
Don't touch them. All right, now I need someone else to hold my camera while I'm at the podium.
All my cameramen get kicked out.
Okay, we have a John.
So I'm up. Hey, pause real quick.
Yeah, I just don't see how this is excessively disruptive behavior, or it's not violating time limits.
They don't want us coming anymore. Is the bottom line. They don't like it. And we're outsiders. We're outsiders. We're not your homeboy Billy Bobs. And so, shit. What was I just gonna say? Walking on the podium. Oh, so you have to stay on topic. Something they have jurisdiction over. So I'm talking about. I go up to speak about the decorum rules, which they have jurisdiction over. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yes, and I'm posting a Ninth Circuit case here for you guys to read. I know it's not a Florida case. Ah, crap! It's not letting me. It's not. Damn it! I mean, it's funny. I get timed out on my own show sometimes. It's just the weirdest thing. Where it'll tell me I'm not allowed to post stuff, but I'm trying to share. Yeah, I'm trying to share with you guys. Hold on. Hopefully it'll let me do it this time. All right. So, yeah. So the rule is if a speaker's comments are unrelated to the agenda of public business, councils can cut them off. Public comment periods can be limited to relevant topics, provided the restrictions are viewpoint neutral. So I think that's what this guy's doing, but he's pretty draconian, don't you think, in the way he's enforcing it? He's not even letting you finish your sentence and just assuming that it's off topic, right?
What are you reading there?
Well, this is Kent versus Santa Monica. It's a Ninth Circuit case, but there's other ones that are on point for your state.
I think we're in the 11th Circuit, and later on in that video, I quote a bunch of case law. But I think what it is, because in Clearwater, they did the same thing. They had meeting after meeting trying to figure out how to keep us from open public comment. Well, Florida state law, they have to let you comment on things that are on the agenda. But what they don't have to do is have an open public comment on the agenda. So Clearwater got rid of their public comment off the agenda, and now they do town halls in a separate building on a separate day just because of us. And we've been to 2 of these so far, and even more people are showing up, even more auditors are showing up, so it's backfiring.
So it says, you can read up there too, John. I've got the 11th Circuit. I got a case. It's called Roe versus City of Cocoa, 11th Circuit, 2004. It says shouting and using abusive language or interfering with proceedings has been upheld as valid to remove.
Right. So when did Solo Yacker do that?
I don't think he did. That's the point I was trying to make, is I don't see that happening here.
He was within his time. He wasn't raising his voice. He wasn't cursing. He was talking about his veteran father, grandfather, whatever.
Yeah.
And he got thrown. He brought up his nephew, and that was, he said your nephew, and then it was like, oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
So the cursing, the guys that got thrown out for cursing and stuff, sure, you can go with that all day. But when I was speaking, well, you haven't heard me yet, so.
Well, it says minor disruptions don't justify removal unless they impede the meeting's purpose. So that's all.
How can you impede on your own time?
Right. And it talks about violations of time limits. That's Cleveland versus City of Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not, how can they violate? They're not even getting a chance to finish what they wanted to say.
Right.
Now, there is another case here that I found. Hold on. I just want to go down the list with you because I'm trying to understand the reasoning of these guys because they seem to be a little out of control. Councils can restrict comments to topics relevant to the agenda or public business. So the 11th Circuit has upheld these restrictions if they're viewpoint neutral and don't target specific opinions. And that case is McDonough versus Garcia. That's an 11th Circuit case from 2020.
I think we know. Is that Eric McDonough?
Could be, man. I don't know, brother.
Right.
I'd have to shepherdize the case and look at it. But the other rules, the other bases would be threats or incitement. And then, of course, violation of established rules is a big one. And that's Hansen versus City of Delano. And I'm going to drop that for you guys, too, just so you can look at it. So basically, public forums are like limited public forums, right? Like because, you have a certain amount of time and you got to get through all the cattle who want to talk. So you have to kind of, like adopt rules that allow that to happen. But, I'm with you, brother. I think that they should just let these people finish saying what they got to say because they don't know where the conversation's leading. It's like having a conversation with a wise old man or like an apostle, like you're talking to Jesus. He's going to start saying stuff that you don't have no idea what he's talking about until he finishes what he had to say. And then it all makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Speaks in parables or whatever. So for these guys just to assume, they have the right to prohibit profanity, personal attacks, or if you address the audience instead of the council, and those rules can lead to removal. But so far, I just haven't seen anything that would lead to a removal, maybe to sit back down in the audience. And that's Hansen versus City of Deland, MD, Florida, 2017. These rules must not be applied to suppress unpopular views. So I'm just trying to, shed some light on this for the audience because a lot of people just think you can go into a city council meeting and just do whatever you want with no ramifications. But yeah, there are some rules. Hansen versus City of DeLond says they just can't be misapplied. That's all. It's, I don't know. What do you think, man?
So even after reading all that, so you've seen Solo Yacker so far?
I haven't seen anything that rises to the level of removing him.
Right. And if someone does remove him, what does that mean for him legally?
Well, I think if you can show, as a matter of law that that he had the right to continue speaking. I think it's a prior restraint on speech, so First Amendment. I think physically putting your hands on people is a battery. It's false imprisonment, false arrest. I mean,
what about the threat to remove you physically?
Well, that's an independent basis for a civil rights violation. I mean, you're being threatened with imprisonment, and it's a violation. I think it's a prior restraint. Absolutely, yeah, bro,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that with the audience so they.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, because you've been, you're more well versed in this stuff. But yeah, so the 11th Circuit strictly protects free speech in public forums, and removing a speaker for their viewpoint or controversial opinions without evidence of disruption, or it risks violating the First Amendment. And that case is Reed versus Town of Gilbert. I'm going to drop this for you too, brother. I'm just trying to help add context to what you're trying to do here.
What's great about this is now, if I have to do this by myself, which I don't want to, I can always look back at this, and what you're doing right now is worth money, honestly.
Oh, I appreciate that, but I don't do this for money. I do this because I want to help you guys.
I'm saying it has value. In other words,
oh, thanks. Yeah.
Do you mind if I go pee? Do you mind if I go pee and smoke?
Oh yeah, do what you got to do, man. I'll
also, if you don't want to continue where you're at, let's see.
Yeah.
I want to show you something. You go to just timestamp where you're at now and go to 39 minutes and 46 seconds and just see what I was going to say to them if they let me speak. And tell me what you think about that when I get back. I'll be right back.
27:32 is where I'm time stamped. And you wanted me to go to what? 39?
39:46 or 39:45.
All right, 39:45. I'll just play this for my peeps.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Did they kick you out? Will you get my tripod? It's by those double doors. It's behind the cops by the double doors. Thank you. I'll be right there. He's grabbing my tripod. Sorry, man.
Hey, brother, it's okay.
Thanks for coming out.
Least I can do.
Was I not talking about county business? Everything I said was county business. Everything I said was county business. What do you say? Downstairs, right behind those cops right there, on the left side of the double doors.
You see the double doors behind you?
You make yourself look really stupid when you call me a young man.
Oh, sorry. I say that to everybody.
Oh, don't be a
You're supposed to say, hey, old fart.
Hey, old fart. My tripod is
right
to the left of those double doors.
To the left, on the bottom floor.
Unbelievable.
This is on. Did you get?
I'll be right with you, my man. As a matter of fact, let me finish my speech. Will you put the camera on me? Just make sure you hold it on the sides here.
All right.
So this is what I was going to say, everybody. So you got Cohen versus California, 1971. That's free speech. Someone said fuck the draft in a courthouse, and he got arrested. And he made case law, Cohen versus California. You got Bethel versus Frazier. Schools can restrict lewd speech, but does not apply to adults in public government settings. Gooding versus Wilson, 1972, reinforcing that offensive speech is protected. Reed versus Town of Gilbert, 2015. Government restrictions on speech must be content neutral. Singling out certain words is unconstitutional. Also, you have the First Amendment. You're engaged in viewpoint discrimination. You're violating 42 USC 1983. I cannot disrupt the meeting during my time to speak. As a matter of fact, you disrupt the meeting when you cut people off during their 3 minutes.
That's true.
Open public comment supposed to be open, not pigeonholed into specific topics. Florida Sunshine Law 286.0114. You cannot arbitrarily silence speakers. Broward Coalitions versus Broward, 2018. You cannot have overly broad decorum rules to suppress dissent. Decorum rules must comply with the constitutional standards and case law. So thank you for holding my camera, man. And as soon as he gets my tripod, I will. There it is. We'll talk to you, okay? Thank you, sir.
You got Hasselleaf is the chairman. His undersheriff.
This is just unbelievable.
I'd say go to government. Government's gonna take it up.
This is how corrupt this place is.
You got David Hasselbeck, he's the chairman. Then you got his son, Michael Hasselbeck.
So really quick, Copser 5150 is asking me, what is the definition of public business? Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but in essence, public business is the business of the public. However, it is true that these council members do have the ability to control to a degree what's going to be on the agenda because it's a limited public forum. But there's a line that can be crossed. And here, based on what I've seen so far, it looks like that line's been being crossed several times. And hopefully when John gets back, we'll go back to the 2732 and finish watching what these councilmen are doing. But so far, I'm really disappointed in the draconian, almost like Nazi German style tactics being used by the city or the county council. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that it was crazy to not let armed fishermen at least get to where he needed to go. I mean, some people, like especially older people, you want them to spit it out and you want them to finish, right? And it's offensive to them that you're not letting them finish. And that's kind of what I see going on here. But yeah, we'll keep on playing until John wants me to go back.
So these guys support Constitution killing police officers. They're kicking on more and more people. So they brought 9 cops here to commit felonies against the people.
You want me to go back, John?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we were at 2732 was our timestamp. So everybody, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe button. We got John Filax here. Make sure to buy memberships on John's channel. Make sure to support him and always give him super chats and stuff. He's got a family to feed.
Actually, man, just tell him to go to tac-us.org. Sign up for free. tac-us.org. Sign up for free.
Do it. Do it now. Move. And if you don't, that means that you're no good.
Okay. You have to see my face.
Good morning. John Filax, Transparency Accountability Coalition, TAC-us.org.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
This is public comment. This is open public comment. I cannot disrupt the meeting during my time to speak. As a matter of fact, you disrupt the meeting when you cut people off during the 3 minutes. Open public comment is supposed to be open, not pigeonholed into specific topics like bridges. Florida Sunshine Law 286.0114. You cannot arbitrarily silence speakers. Broward Coalition versus Broward 2018. You cannot.
Do you want to talk about something that we have jurisdiction?
Yes, you have jurisdiction, sir. You have jurisdiction. You have.
Get the mic, please. If you're not going to do that, then it's rude.
I am speaking on stuff you have to. You have stuff. I'm talking about stuff you have.
Get the mic, please.
Sir, you guys are committing a felony if you remove me.
Okay.
You're committing a felony if you remove me right now. Cohen versus California, 1971. Bethel versus Fraser Schools cannot restrict loose speech, but does not apply to indulge in public.
This is America. This is fucking America. Fuck you. You come take me out. You come take me out.
But that's a request. He's committing a felony.
Yeah, you come take me out.
Yeah.
Fuck you. What's your badge number?
Is this under threat of arrest?
What's your fucking badge?
Under threat of arrest?
What's your fucking
What is it
badge
under threat of arrest?
What's yours?
Answer me, please.
What's yours?
Is it under threat of arrest?
What's yours? You broke it. All your qualified.
Okay, that's under threat of arrest. I'm leaving under threat of arrest.
Under threat of arrest. I'm leaving.
I was actually talking about stuff the county has control over. David Hasselbeck is out of fucking control.
Jake.
Am I trespassed?
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Tell me if I'm trespassed. If I'm trespassed, I will leave the building. If I'm not trespassed, then I don't have to leave the building. Asking is not legal.
Is that a request? Is that a request?
Fuck you, pig. Fuck you, pig. You fucking bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you.
You guys are committing felonies, man.
Look at you, fucking criminal fucks. Fuck you. Ah, fuck you. Fuck you.
Go ahead, man.
He goes nuts for a couple more minutes, and then I just kind of start asking him why they're committing felonies. I don't know if it's a felony or not, but Is a civil rights violation a felony?
Well, I mean, it could rise to the level of a felony. It's definitely
What is it considered off the bat?
Well, I think you're looking at civil rights violations, which could be forwarded to like the federal government to prosecute as civil rights violations.
I'm suing someone for violating my civil rights. They're being charged with a what?
Well, if you're suing them, they're just being charged with a civil offense. It's not even a charge. It's a charge would be something that is more like a criminal offense. Typically, it involves, I think they call it a charge actually because you usually get charged a fine. I believe that's where the term, it's a maritime term, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty interesting. But
so what do you call it on the civil side? You just call it a violation?
A violation, an offense, a civil offense. Yeah.
But that still means something that's bigger in scope than a charge, right? No? Yes?
Well, it's a civil offense for which money damages could be paid and attorney's fees certainly. And I think that you would have to have a criminal referral to make it a criminal charge. You'd have to get the FBI and or you could try to pursue like a private attorney general's action. It's not easy. You have to show some other kind of underlying criminality, and typically that would involve like battery, tight handcuffs, a pattern in practice under Monell, which could get the federal government involved. Typically, they don't do criminal referrals for speech violations. However, if it's coupled with other things like manhandling people, stomping on their cameras and stuff like that,
threat of imprisonment.
Well, I think that could rise to the level, but the more violent they are, typically guys like this, the city or county council guys that act like that usually have like a little fiefdom already, and they're already engaged in some other kind of illegal activity. And so if you can find that out, that can blow wide open everything else. So typically when someone acts like that, like draconian, narcissistic, they've got other things that they're doing. And if you can pinpoint that, it usually leads to bodies. And that is how you would get the federal government to bring in, and maybe even the local government to bring some kind of criminal charge.
What do you mean bodies? Like skeletons in the closet?
Or even people that are getting offed, and usually it's going to be one of these whistleblower cops that blows the lid off. That's been my experience. Is there's usually like one decent cop who's sick and tired of this kind of stuff going on, doesn't like it that all these family members are profiting off of the city or the county, and he's getting the wrong end of the deal, the bad end of the stick, right? They're making him do duty that he doesn't want to do or whatever. So then he whistle blows and blows the top off of them. But guys like this typically don't last long, brother.
Is what happened to me worth pursuing?
Well, I think it's worth pursuing if you have the time and the desire, and it's affordable. Time, desire, and affordability. It just like if you were going to buy something or sell something, that's how it has to be. If you've got the time and you've got the desire and you've got people who can donate the funds to help you, because the costs are enormous to bring a civil rights case. And the only way that it would work is if we can find a decent lawyer who knows what the hell they're doing in your jurisdiction and offer, usually they're going to want to get paid by the hour in a case like this, because there's usually no payoff. The cost of bringing a litigation like this typically exceeds what you can get. True, the city could be liable for attorney's fees and stuff like that, which could get very expensive. And that's why I say you need a lawyer. If you represent yourself pro se, you're not going to be entitled to attorney's fees. That's the issue that's the problem I had with Lane Myers and him bringing all of his own lawsuits. The value isn't there to where the city or the county looks at him as much of a threat, because the attorney's fees are where you get killed, right? I mean, I bill out between $500 to $750 an hour.
Oh, wow. So if I let me see, if I do it myself,
yeah,
outside of the $400 filing fee, where's all the cost?
Well, you got to take depots. Depots aren't cheap. You've got to probably hire a use of force expert. You'll probably have to hire.
Well, there was no use of force. It was all verbal threat.
Well, even then, that's force. Verbal threat is still, what is the acceptable use of threat or force in order to remove someone from a limited public forum. You also would want to look at. You'd want to probably bring in an expert on the First Amendment, either a lawyer or someone who has experience in these types of cases, maybe a former councilman, a former judge, and you would want to hire them as an expert, right? So expert witnesses are how you win these cases, and they're not cheap. You typically are not going to be able to win a case like this without some kind of an expert witness, and that is going to run up the cost significantly. Taking depositions of cops and city councilmen, thousands and thousands of dollars in costs that you're going to rack up. Now, if you have a foundation where people are donating money, then you can afford those limited costs. But what is the motivation for the county or the city to settle? Unless you've got news media going bananas because someone got the crap beat out of them, or a racial thing where a black dude's being called the N-word, it doesn't have the juicy effect where the press is going to want to pick it up. So the only other pressure that you can put on these guys, the only pressure you can put on the council is attorney's fees. If you've got a badass lawyer who is pushing for attorney's fees under Section 1983, Title 42, that attorney's fee bill could be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's how you put the pressure on them to settle or change their policy. And it sounds to me like you want to change their policy. Now, another way to get them to change their policy is to start a recall effort. Recall efforts are a really great way to get them to change their policy. I would recommend doing all of the above. Now, you and I, do I have permission to sort of talk a little bit about our discussions on how we could potentially bring in some lawyers?
Yeah, but let me ask something first.
Yeah, no problem.
So in my mind, I draw up the 42 USC 1983 lawsuit. And mind you, everything you just said there was news to me. So
in
my mind, I file a lawsuit, we go to court, we weigh the facts, and they say, no, you can't do this because of this case law. And he says, yes, we can because of decorum rules. And then someone decides. It's not like that, huh?
Well, the way the jury is going to look at it is they're going to bring in their experts. They're going to probably bring in a cop. They're going to bring in maybe a retired judge. I'll have to do the research, but because I haven't really done a whole lot of limited public forum cases like that. But it's going to be a battle of experts. And basically it's going to be beyond a reasonable degree of constitutional certainty, right? Did the city or the county violate this free speech rule? And that's
so if I go myself, I put all my case law, everything I learned from you and everything I learned from everywhere.
You can argue it.
But my chances are slim because what? Because they have a cop and they're mesmerized by the costume.
Probably.
Is it a jury trial?
It would be a jury trial, but a jury would weigh evidence. And so the more experts you have on a particular topic, now they have got to hire their own expert to refute it. And the issue is, brother, what's going to happen is if you have an issue like, if their city attorney said that this is a lawful ordinance and it was properly applied, and they hire another retired city planner or city attorney to come in as an expert, and they assign that person as an expert witness, you now have to name your expert to counter them. And that's usually how they blow cases out like this, because you're not going to be able to afford nor even find someone who will be your expert. You might have to fly clear across the state to bring your expert in.
So
and then you have to retain them. Usually they charge $400 to $500 an hour, and they're going to want a minimum 40 hours up front in retainer.
So
that's how they get you guys.
When they have an expert witness come on, would I get to cross-examine them?
Absolutely. But if you don't have your own expert to form their opinion, this is assuming that it gets to the level where one side's hiring experts, right? You may just go to trial without experts, but still, they're going to have their city attorney testify, and he is a non-retained expert. So you're not
expert in what, law?
Right. He's the guy who did all of their rules.
See, the thing is, I wouldn't mind losing just to get that experience.
I know, but that would be considered like a malicious prosecution. There's another word for it for civil, but it's the same thing. You have to believe that you can win your case, otherwise you'll get declared vexatious, and you could be sued.
I believe I can win my case, but there's only one way to find out. What I'm saying is, yeah, right?
Yeah, but again, John, if you're going in there and your damages are de minimis, like $50, and you're spending $50,000, it's not worth it. So that's why I'm saying, it makes more sense to get a lawyer who's billing out at $400 to $500
I agree.
an hour.
Listen, I agree with every single thing you're saying.
All right.
My mind is hashing out me by myself, but I agree with everything you're saying, and I understand everything you're saying.
All
but
right.
I want you to come into fantasy land with me, right?
Yeah.
And say I'm by myself. After the $400, everything else in the case is me and me alone. I'm trying to convince the jury.
Well, you won't get to a jury. You'll get summarily adjudicated. They'll file like a Rule 56 or something, and you won't know how to fight it.
What does that mean? Also, basically, they'll use every trick that I don't know because I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, they'll do what's called like a trial on the pleadings, a demur, or a motion for summary judgment or summary adjudication. And what they'll do is they'll hit you with this paperwork, and you'll have to know how to file written objections. You'll have to know how to create declarations and refute everything and prove that you have tribal issues of material fact.
Am I given any leeway as a pro se?
Only on procedural issues, not on substantive law. So if you can't substantively defeat their arguments, you're going to get blown out. It's really important to have a lawyer, and that's why.
Substance. Say that again.
Substantive law. Procedurally, you screw up on filing something the wrong way, or you're a day late on filing something, that the courts are supposed to give you leeway as a pro per or a pro se litigant. And there's a case called Balistrary versus Pacifica Police Department. It's a Ninth Circuit case, but if you shepherdized it, I'm sure there's one in Florida that applies. And basically what the rule is that the Court of Appeals has a duty to ensure that pro se litigants don't lose a fair hearing on the merits of a claim due to ignorance of technical or procedural requirements. But if it's substantive, like a matter of law, you don't get that leeway. No, the court will blow you out. So you really have to know what you're doing. And it's a problem, man.
Okay.
Trust me, it's a real problem. And that's why I really want to push you and all the people that are part of our sort of network of friends to form parallel systems and use the powerful tool that you have, which is you've got subscribers, and you and a lot of other guys like you all across the country have these YouTube channels. And I believe that with my help, we could form a coalition. We could find lawyers to help who just want they want you to promote them on your channels. And if we could get 30 or 40 guys like you who have really popular channels and just promote these guys as being part of our patriotic network, I'm sure we could find guys who would pro bono or not even come in pro bono, but come in and just cover the costs up front, and then go after and then get their attorney's fees, just because, or maybe you can raise funds to help them with costs. But listen, when you look at how much it would cost for them to advertise on a channel like yours, 300,000 subscribers, for example, and you're running an ad every time you do a show. Look, there's some CNN shows that don't get more than 50,000 views.
Yeah, we get way more views than they do.
Yeah, it's so and you're getting people who are getting arrested, people who want to know about the law, and they'll even independently promote the lawyer and say nice things about them and give them nice user reviews. Like Like you should be telling everybody, give Mike Eline a 5-star review for his law firm for giving us help. That's the ways you could help us. Because we always get like 1-star reviews from all the frauditor people who want to hurt us. I mean, but nobody. I've been doing these things for a year now, and nobody goes out of their way to help me. And I'm getting punished by people who don't like me because I try to help people like you. So, like, you could turn it into something where you encourage your audience to promote patriotic lawyers, and then we get other guys like San Joaquin, for example, or whatever it might be, like all over the country. Because some lawyers have nationwide law firms, or they might have another lawyer that refers them cases in California, like cruise ship cases. Like I've got guys like cruise ship cases can only be handled for Princess Cruises in California. So I've got Florida attorneys who refer me Princess cruise ship cases, and in return, I refer them Carnival cruise ship cases. You could do the same thing. You could be like, hey, I need you to promote this California attorney who refers this lawyer in Florida cases, right? And if you do that for me, I'll make sure that this California lawyer represents you next time one of your members gets falsely arrested. And we could form like this group of lawyers who we're promoting through our network, who are helping us, and in return they help us with their cases. And now you've got that added bonus of being able to threaten that county councilman with attorney's fees, because that's what's going to bankrupt that county if they don't start enforcing the law in a way that's neutral. Because I don't see that it's being neutrally applied here. I think he's just looking, oh, these guys are troublemakers, I'm going to silence them.
It's not neutral at all. He
Yeah.
threw out Warren Sapp too.
And he knows that you guys don't have money. So he knows.
Hold on, because Warren Sapp is already suing that county for $20 million currently.
Yeah, but I could sue someone for 100.
And he still threw him out.
I could sue someone for 100 million. That's irrelevant. I mean, you just write a number on there. It's are you going to be able
for the false arrest? I'm saying so.
Yeah, but
and then he threw him out of the meeting, so they know he can afford it.
Is he doing it pro per?
No.
Pro se. He's got a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Well, in that case, that's a bit of a threat. But I'll be honest with you. If he's got a lawyer, he should not be going to those meetings or anything. He should let you guys do that. He should stay out of the limelight, because all that stuff can be used against him by a jury. And you got to remember something. Most of the people that get left on juries, and I've said this before, they're government employees. And if you guys have ever really hung out, most government employees are like hardcore lefties. They're all about getting bloated pensions and basically fleecing the taxpayer. Most of the guys left on your jury is going to be like postal workers, and they think that you're just like some crazy Trump supporter who wants to have a insurrection. So they already don't like you. That's usually the jury pool that you're left with. So the more you come off as reasonable and less like a crazy person, the more statistical probability that you could win that case before a jury. So the idea is, that's why I was always kind of telling, like, Lane's got to cool it down, because his case is going to go before a jury. And if they get a bunch of government employees are not typically like patriotic Second Amendment people like us. Yeah, they're typically like far left Marxist type people. Yeah. Remember, they're the only ones who get paid to be on a jury. People like you and I who have businesses, have family to support. We don't get paid to be on the jury, but postal workers do, city employee, IRS employees who hate people.
What do you mean? They get paid from their paycheck.
Yeah, they get paid.
Their paycheck doesn't stop.
They get paid to. So to them, it's fun. Here, let's see if we can put this insurrectionist in jail or screw him. And they definitely don't believe in jury nullification. So, there's a lot of pitfalls to what you guys are trying to do. And I'm just trying to teach you guys like what it's really about, like what you think and what you think and how it really is are two totally different things. And I'm not putting anyone down. I've just got 20 years experience doing this as a lawyer. And I got another 10 years experience before that as a paralegal and a law clerk, externing for the Court of Appeal. I know how judges operate. I've worked for the prosecutor's office in LA. I know how prosecutors think. I know what you end up with on the jury pool. So if you come off as super reasonable and not combative, even one of these Marxist commies that works for the government, they're going to find in your favor because they'll be able to identify with you. That's the key thing. They have to be able to identify with you. And don't think for a minute that they're not looking you up on the internet and trying to see what you're all about. I don't care what anybody says. I'm pretty sure that they do.
Jurors.
Yeah. Oh, you've been sworn not to do any research about this guy. I mean, come on, man. People are people. So I hope I'm not like bursting anyone's bubble, man.
That's a good point there. I always wonder how, just because they tell jurors, at the end of the case, they're like, hey, make sure you don't read anything about this case, look at anything about this case, talk to anyone about this case, and then they just release them into the public. Meanwhile, in this day and age, they just grab their phone real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like they sit down at a computer or find a computer it's right. Boom! It's just right. Everything, the whole world is right there.
And really quick, John, I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to be rude to SW Observer. So everybody, give me a bunch of ones for SW Observer. He just gifted a membership, and that is really the way I want you guys to promote me. I love the super chats, and I'll always put your comments at the front of the line. But when you guys buy memberships for other people, it goes out to other people who the YouTube algorithm thinks might want to be part of what we're trying to do here. And so it brings other people into our channel, into our discussions from the outside. And so you guys buying those memberships, it means a lot to me because it helps me get out the word. Because look, I could be working right now, making a lot of money in my law firm. I do this because I'm trying to help you guys. I'm not trying to get rich here. So what SW Observer just did means a lot to me. So make sure to like and subscribe to his channel. And
Swedish
stuff like
Observer,
that.
brother. Swedish Observer.
Swedish Observer. That's right. That's my homeboy, and I'm a Swede myself, so we get along. Yo, yeah, it's good day.
You got that Viking look to you.
What's that?
So you got that Viking look to you.
Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah. I'm definitely a Viking. My dad was a Swede.
See you with a big mug.
Yeah, my mom was Norwegian. My mom's Norwegian and a little bit of Scottish and German. So I'm pretty much Northern European. Definitely got that Viking mentality, though. I'm a warrior. And my dad was a Marine. I was a Marine. And I think like that, like I consider guys like you who believe in natural law and natural rights and that your rights come from a creator. I don't care if you think it's Thor or Jesus, but if you believe that your rights came from a creator and not from the state, you're part of Team MPE. And when I leave this earth, I want to make sure that my children have people like you on this planet who believe the same way. And so, and my wife is my shield maiden. She'll fight right alongside of me. And I want to make sure you have that mentality too when you go out into the world and be armed with the knowledge that I can give you guys so you'll be better advocates for yourselves. And so with respect to what you're doing, John, I've got an immense respect for you and guys like Chili DeCastro and Lane Myers. And, I'm a guy who got beat up by a West Covina cop over a parking ticket. And that started me on my journey to becoming a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I was like maybe 26 or 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
That cop still around?
What's that? No, he's off the force. No, he's a scumbag.
See, the thing is, cops don't realize this. Like what you just said, you said you were 26, so half your life ago, and you'll never forget it. It's plain as day. It's always there in the back of your head.
Yeah.
They don't understand what an effect it has, and the way they act and do it all willy-nilly, they definitely never, ever would want it done to them or any of their family members.
And then facing that 148. So, of course, they always charge you with resisting arrest after they beat the shit out of you because they want to make sure they can mitigate any potential lawsuit. So, going for 2 years, hoping that I would be able to get those charges dismissed or have a trial. I mean, I lost weight. I probably took years off my life. Getting charged with resisting arrest over a parking ticket because I asked a cop for a copy of his ID. And I was being a smart ass, but I was like, don't you have anything better to do than write parking tickets? I'm loading my truck in front of my place of employment Bally's Total Fitness with a Bally's Total Fitness uniform on. So John, I've always been into physical fitness. I helped start the LA Fitness Health Club chain. I worked with Packy and Ray Wilson from Family Fitness, which became 24-hour fitness. So I've always done that. But I did paralegal work, and on the weekends I would go out with guys like you, and we would film cops with these big cameras. And I had friends with the British West Indies license plates and like no driver's license, right of travel. I went to some seminars with the Freemen of Montana. So I was involved in that whole movement, man, before a lot of you guys were even born. And so I think like you guys, but
sounds like you're the goat to me.
Probably to you I might be, but I was a jarhead, and that is just the mentality of most Marines, is that oath that we take it really serious. Even when we get out, we're still in. And so for me, it's like I see great injustice when I see public servants violating people's rights. When I was willing to die for your rights and still am, I believe in accountability. And so my Marine buddies are probably more active in the so-called sovereign citizen movement than any of these guys here in the audience.
What do a lot of Marines come back and actually become police officers, or do they find other careers?
It's true. A lot. I would say that most of the deputy sheriffs, probably 60 to 70%, were Marines. But you got to understand them. Absolutely. In fact, the drill and everything is Marine Corps style. And sheriffs are considered to be the most disciplined, and they work in the jail, so they know how to spot criminal behavior. So but the thing is, you got to understand something, bro. Like most Marines, like I believed, think that cops are trying to help people. And so we want to become cops because we think we're going to be helping people. But then you get in there and you find out about the Blue Line Gang. Look, I've represented a lot of whistleblowers, bro, and a lot of more Marines or Navy because they've discovered that it's not what they thought it was. Just like the Marines isn't what we thought it was. I mean, Marines eat their own. It's the brotherhood that matters when you get out. And so I just want you guys to know, like, not all cops are bad like you think. I mean, they join, a lot of them, because they think that they're going to make the world a better place. But I think they get jaded. And the problem is, if they don't go along with the program, they lose their pensions.
I think that's the problem right there. You got a ransom. The pension's almost like a ransom.
I think so. Yeah, I do. I really do believe that, John. I don't know what the answer is, but
and then if they decide, to cross that line, they're risking their pension, but that's their career. That's what feeds their wife, their kids, that's what pays the mortgage. So
yeah.
And then literally the government puts them between a rock and a hard place, and having to walk that line, man. Oh boy. Is the answer from outside, or is the answer from inside, or is it a combination of both? You know what I mean?
Well, I'll be honest with you. By the way, guys, everybody give me a bunch of ones for Reluctant Prophet joining the meeting tonight. Reluctant Prophet is a true patriot. He's constantly on the front line supporting government accountability operations in Arizona, and our friend Lane Myers. And we need to definitely do another show, RP, about what's going on with Lane, if there's a way I can help. But now back to the topic at hand, John. Here's what I think. I think the first step is to abolish the privately run Federal Reserve banking system and get off fiat currency and return America back to its patriotic values. Get rid of the public school system, which brainwashes children to hate their country, which was brought here by the Rockefeller family to create a nation of workers, not of thinkers, from Prussia. It's the Prussian education system that was brought over here to make people stupid, in my opinion. And we've seen the race to the bottom with the Department of Education. We need to bring back classical education. We need to be homeschooling our kids, growing our own food, homesteading, stop buying crap from black rock companies. Homeschooling is the main thing. Teach your kids about history, get off fiat currency. And I just think that the public servants are naturally going to become more patriotic and more community minded. When my dad, and I don't want to cut you, one more thing. When my dad was growing up in Orange County, California, moved out here from St. Paul, he was an altar boy. They were into drag racing, and the 22 freeway was under construction. And so all the local dudes that, some of the rich kids had Mopar, But all the poor kids like my dad had Chevys. It was put a 327, put a Chevy in it, and they would race on the Garden Grove Freeway while it was under construction. And the local cops would come out and watch, and they knew all the kids based on their first name. Now they set up municipal corporations based primarily on how much revenue they think the police department can generate in fines, arrests, jailing. They get subsidies based on how long they keep people imprisoned. And that is the main problem, John. Go ahead and keep that. It's your turn. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was really important that I got that out. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you said Federal Reserve, I would always say the Federal Reserve is the head of the beast. You know what I mean? That's what runs everything. And when I tell someone that's not even it's not a government bank, that's a privately owned bank. It's owned by many wealthy families. They can't account for the gold. It's never been audited. I was a Ron Paul guy, 2008 at least. He ran in 86 also. I've always voted third party for the most part, except like one election. I voted last election. I voted for a Jew. One elected a Jewish woman. One election, I voted for a black lady, Cynthia McKinney. Stop with the two parties, dude. The two parties is straight trash, and they're parasite clash, just like Michael was talking about. So 5 more minutes. Is that cool?
Oh, yeah. You want to close out? I'm ready. Yeah, I'm good. We don't, we're already losing audience, and after like almost 2 hours, I think people get bored with us. But yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you, man. And this is how people are going to watch this, and then they're going to share their buddies, and then word of mouth's going to get around. And this is the way, man. It's like you said, it's not this corporation crap. It's not this municipality garbage. We're not going to base the revenue of the city of how much you could steal on the side of the road through civil asset forfeiture. And like you said, fiat. Start buying mercury dimes. Mercury dimes get a $5 roll of mercury dimes, and they're little tiny pieces of silver, and they're nice looking too. And you can make them into cufflinks. So
Bitcoin too. I've been doing the Bitcoin thing.
Bitcoin, XRP. Yeah.
Yep. I'm doing it. And I also, if you want, I can do another show with you, John, about how I've been doing investing through my IRA. I mean, over the last my IRA, my SEP IRA.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I've been able to bring in, I don't know, $300,000 or $400,000 in profits in the last, 3 or 4 months leveraging Bitcoin through MSTR, MicroStrategy, MSTY, and MSTU. I can teach you guys how I day trade. I mean, these are the things that I want to help you guys with, so you don't get dependent upon. It's primarily the Democrat Party. They want to keep you dependent on a welfare check, so you'll vote for them. But I want to teach people how to be truly independent, so you don't have to be dependent on the government at all. And I think
that's interesting as hell to me, man. Let's do it on my channel next time.
I would love to. I would love to.
5-minute segment or something.
Yeah, I would love to show you guys how to do it. And then obviously, John, before we go, make sure if you guys are buying stuff on Coinbase, and this isn't financial advice, okay? I'm not doing that for the purposes of making money, but I'm just saying, from my perspective, if you have your Bitcoin or your XRP or your Ether on Coinbase or Robinhood, get a Bitcoin wallet, get a secure Bitcoin wallet, and get it off of there. Get it in. As soon as you buy stuff, you should immediately migrate to your Bitcoin wallet, and never, ever use.
Tell me what Bitcoin wallet. What does that mean?
Basically, it's like a little memory stick that you upload all your Bitcoin into, and it's got a password that only you know, and you can take that with you anywhere you go. And that's why even though I've got thousands of dollars worth of gold bullion and silver and platinum and all that stuff, when I finally moved to El Salvador with my wife and kids, because that's our goal, bringing all thousands of pounds of gold and silver, it doesn't make sense. Then having to use Comex in a private security company to bring it and drawing all that attention to you, that doesn't make sense either. But if you had all that on a little Bitcoin wallet, you could take millions of dollars with you wherever you go without carrying all that stuff with you. You follow what I'm saying?
And it's something physical.
Well, it's Bitcoin, man. I mean, it's to me.
What I'm saying is, what you're talking about is hardware. It's not online. It's not a cloud.
That's right. And another tip that I have is, if you are using, a Coinbase or a Robinhood, And if you're a guy, if you've ever went on any like porn site, automatically you've already got spyware in your computer, and they're keyword logging you and monitoring everything that you're doing, and they're just waiting for the time to steal your shit. So if you are using one of these programs to upload stuff back and forth, you need to have a clean computer on a clean connection using a VPN, and you only use that computer for one purpose, and that is to do your Bitcoin transactions, and you have that set aside. And I wouldn't even use a Wi-Fi. I would use a direct line connection to do those transactions, because the Wi-Fi can be tapped into. And then and then you just upload your shit. You put it onto your Bitcoin wallet or your Ether wallet or whatever it is you're using. And we can talk about this more at a later time. The only other thing that I think is more valuable than gold, to be honest, is having thousands of rounds of ammo and at least one AR platform rifle and maybe a 45 and a 9mm, because that's going to be the most common types of ammo if there is a problem. 5.56 or 223 rounds, 9mm and 45 ACP rounds. If there is a zombie apocalypse and you can form block captains, that ammunition is going to be more valuable than a piece of gold. And having an AR platform, it's the most commonly used rifle in the country. And I just think that's the way you got. But we can talk about all this at another day. And I'm getting a little off track. But what I'm trying to say is forms of currency. Bitcoin is only valuable as long as you have the ability to access it. If there is a brownout, if the world goes to hell, ammunition and a rifle and a pistol and body armor is going to be worth a lot more to you and your loved ones. Believe me on that one.
I need some body armor. All right.
Yeah. And I can actually turn you on to some discounted stuff. A lot of my friends became mercs after they got out of the Marine Corps. I've got some buddies over. I'm not going to tell you where they are, but I'm pretty sure you kind of have an idea where they are. My MARSOC buddies and stuff like that. Because once you've been doing that high speed crap, it's kind of hard. And your wives usually leave you because you're cuckoo when you get back. So you kind of just gravitate back to that. But yeah, man, it looks like it looks like we lost one of our dudes. He said he heard enough and bailed on us. Clark Graham, I guess he doesn't like us anymore. Come back, Clark.
Good, we're running a little long anyway. You can't just go on and on and on. People will lose interest. So thanks for having me, my brother. Close it out. Don't you have like some closing out thing? Or just
yeah. So guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Do you have anything you want to say?
Please become a member for free at tac-us.org.
All right, and then John, I'll be looking forward to our next show together. We'll have to come up with something good for the audience.
Like what you're talking about, the prepper stuff, the gold stuff, the investing stuff. We'll do that next.
Outstanding. All right, guys. Semper Fi, do or die. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Pick up a copy of my book on how to become a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad by going to my YouTube channel and click on the description. It's $19.99. There's several other states that offer programs like that. Even if you don't want to become a lawyer, use it as a point of inspiration. I slept on park benches, did whatever I had to do to become a lawyer with no law degree, ended up making hundreds of millions of dollars for my clients, become a very successful attorney. But my true love is you guys and helping you guys take back your rights from the great Leviathan, the administrative state. God bless all you guys. Semper Fi, do or die. Take care.